While we try to be as helpful as possible, this podcast should not be considered as professional or financial advice. It contains general information only, and you should seek out professional advice for your own personal circumstances before making any financial decisions.
Welcome back, guys. I'm Julia.
And I'm Nick.
And this
is
the
Enthusiast Lab.
Woo! All right, guys, so welcome back to another episode of the Enthusiast Lab. Today we are gymming off.
Fuck, it's going to be one of them days today.
Today we are gymming off last week's episode, which technically we discussed. We're going to release this as a two-parter, so technically the previous episode,
we have to.
Which was the pre-construction or administration phase, and today we are talking all things construction.
Oh, yeah, and there is a lot to talk about, so buckle in, get your popcorn. There is a lot to know. Look, like we said, we're just bringing all that information today. You don't need to know it all. It's just so that you have an idea how much actually comes into play about the whole construction phase and every little bit and bop about it.
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect.
I don't no, I keep saying perfect. I don't have my show notes from last week, but we essentially covered that you have signed up. You've gone through the entire administration page. The builder's done all of their bits and bops to get you...
Yep, you've been settled, you've been approved, everything's ready. Now you're ready to go into construction. And what does that entail? You know, this is where with a lot of the builders, you've got the 2 and 3 year builds and all this shit. So trying to understand how much is actually involved in it, this is what today is all about.
Yeah, and something to note is some of these items might not happen in this chronological order. It's just like a good guide of what is happening.
Yeah.
Most of these things will happen like close to one another. So maybe something will happen before the next one.
Yeah, and sometimes a few things happen at once as well, you know. So the core structural is always going to be quite individualized because they have to go in a certain manner. But after that, you might have 3 or 4 trades or stages almost happening together at the same time because they're not going to be affecting each other. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah. All right. So let's jump straight in. So the first thing that you'll notice on your site is your construction sign.
Fuck yeah.
So this is the sign that you've been waiting for. It basically has your lot number on there so that the builder can find you and all the trades can find you so that they know
where to go.
And
well, they don't want to get lost. You don't want your trades lost because that'll be the last thing you fucking need.
Yeah, exactly. So then the first big thing that you'll start seeing on site is earthworks.
Yes.
And earthworks is the foundation of your new home. It levels out the block to create an even sand pad, which means it's like tightly compacted.
Yep.
And gives you a solid base to pour your slab onto.
Yeah, 100%. So especially in WA, you've got to notice this is by the time you've moved into construction, if you catch it before the slab goes down, you'll see that it's, you know, almost like cut out around. It's all ready, prepped, ready to go. You can always make out where your slab's going to be because all the earthworks is done. It's ready to rock and roll. Now it's time to fucking do it all.
Yeah. So then after that, they'll do the boundary repeg.
Yep. Yeah, okay. So the boundary repeg, you don't actually notice this, but it happens because they want to make sure that, especially with the slab going down, you want to make sure that you're actually on your property line. So sometimes the pegs that are normally there to indicate where your boundary is, they get knocked around and shit like that. So if it's required, they will repeg it to make sure they know exactly where to work on, if we're working right on the boundaries and shit like that. And that's what this stage is about.
The next one is slab prep.
Yep.
So right before the almighty pour, the site needs a little bit more prep. So that's the plumbing prelays.
Yes.
And the termite treatment.
Yep.
Followed by an engineer-specified steel mesh and footings.
Correct.
So that's all happening right before the slab. And then the first major milestone that happens, which we mentioned 2 episodes ago, is slab pour.
Slab down. fucking, this is when you start to see all that hard work put together and actually see something like, fuck, what's the word? I'm going to be playing fucking chasey for words today. Like when you're chasing, to see your first, like the fruition of all that hard work type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's what this is all about. It's, you've grinded out those fucking months of savings and all the shit you've had to do. And now you can actually see, this is what I've done it for. Now it's time. This is when shit gets real. That's, yeah. You look, Julie's staring at me in the fucking weird manner, so I'm just trying to figure out what she's looking at.
You've got something in your eye. Wrong eye.
Wrong eye. So apologies, guys. Technical difficulties over here while I check my eye.
Okay, so then
I'm all good.
After that, once your slab is down, is normally when we reach out to do your slab signing experience.
100%. So that's a big thing. So because as soon as you go into construction, you'll notice that we'll be slapping our sign on there just so then obviously you guys can slap your sticker on, have some fun with it. And while we're doing our construction visits, as soon as we see that your slab is down or you guys have told us, whatever happens, whichever way, you'll hear from us pretty quickly after that going, cool. Now that your slab's down, because shit starts to move pretty quick, let's organise your slab signing experience. So what that basically entails, I'll just go a bit into this. Yeah. You all right with that? All right. So the slab signing experience is literally there to try and, to have some fun with it. You don't need to do it. There's no obligation to do it. But this is so fucking rare in this industry to be able to, where the builder will allow you to actually come onto site and we can actually go out and tag up the fucking slab. So we're talking, if you want to put some hashtags, some quotes, some memories, whatever you want to draw, a coin or whatever it is. We've had people draw dicks and you're not allowed to do dicks anymore. We got told off for that.
We did get told off.
Real fucking bad. But guys, at the end of the day, if you want to fucking draw something, go for God, just not dicks. That's it.
And it's a customizable experience that
Yes.
at the moment, I think Levita's the only builder that offers that.
Yeah, so Levita Homes, our partner builder, they are offering it for a lot of their clients as well, which that's how it initially started. And we had a discussion with them and we decided to take over for our clients, mainly because of two things. It's a lot of time and trying to organise with a lot of you guys that are listening out there is, you might be working during the week and that's when normally they try and get it done. You might be free on a weekend or you're flying in, so you might not line up and people were missing out. So we just went, fuck it, we'll take over. Yep. I work fucking weekends nonstop. Let's just fucking send it and make sure that we're there because it's a really good experience. It's so fucking rare to have this. I don't want people to miss out. We never got this. It would have been fucking sick just to go, Nick and Julia and put a date. The best one I love is when people put down the slab down date. Yeah. Because it gives you a reality check of, holy fuck, in 6 months' time when the roof's on and everything's going on and you're walking through the house and going, holy shit, we've got a whole frame of a house and it's been 4 or 5 months, not 2 years. Do you know what I mean? So it's a real fucking cool experience.
Yeah, definitely. Let's jump back in. So we have said slab down, slab signing, and then your plumbing drainage goes in. So the builder will be hooking up the plumbing drains, stormwater, and soak wells.
Correct. So you'll see pretty much very quickly afterwards 2 big fuck off concrete soak wells normally rock up to your thing. You're going, what the fuck? And then the next day it disappears. They basically dig it out. Depending on where it shows on your site plan, it might be one at the back, one on the front. And basically they dig it out, smash it all in, make sure the plumbing's all fed up, connected up to it. Because that basically helps with all your roof plumbing and shit like that. That's where the water will be dissipating into the soil.
And you'll find like a lot of sand on your slab.
Yeah, fuck
and that's
yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Because the soak wells are going in.
100%.
Then the underground power goes in. So the Sparky comes onto site and runs all the main electrical cables from the boundary line to your future meter box.
Yep.
Ready to power up the home in a couple of months' time.
Yeah.
And then there's a slab clean.
Yes. So obviously with all the sand and shit like that, we're getting ready before going through, getting to the next stage. We want to clear off and clear that slab so that it's nice and clean, ready for the next stage.
Which is damp proofing.
Yep. So damp proofing goes around the slab. Mm-hmm. So that's basically... It's to avoid moisture fucking obviously going in. You want to fucking lock it all out. So Depends. There's different colors. A lot of the time in WA, you might notice they might be like blue or black, and it's always on the perimeter on the outside of your slab. That's what that damp proofing is. It's not, something's been discolored or something's fucking gone whack. They're actually just doing all the shit that's required.
Once this is all done, we move into the next stage, which is your next kind of milestone stage, which is bricks.
Yep.
So your brick delivery, and this all normally happens quite quickly of each other. So you get your brick delivery, and then all these next ones happen almost simultaneously. You kind of go to the slab site and they're all there. Which
pretty
is
much.
your steel delivery, your window frames delivery, and your internal door frame delivery, entry door frame delivery, cement delivery, and then the brickies start. So once all of that is delivered to your site, everything's there. It's all locked up in the site shed.
Some of it is. Some of it. Obviously, you're not going to lock up all your fucking bricks in the site shed.
No, but like your cement and stuff, that's all locked away.
Yeah, they try and lock it up.
Yeah.
Just because shit gets stolen and sold all the time.
So once all of that is delivered, plus your bricks, then they start actually building your bricks up.
Absolutely. So they'll obviously in the background, supervisors calling out the brickies and shit like that, getting it all ready. As soon as all the materials are on site, so you need all your frames, you need your sand, you need your cement, you need all that shit. Once it's all ready, the boys they'll lock in a date that they know they're going to be coming, and then just they jump on and get the ball rolling.
Yep. And then once the bricks are done, that's your milestone moment. So brickwork, or in the building industry we call it plate height.
Plate height. Yes.
So all the brickwork's finished, everything is created. You can now walk onto site and walk through room by room.
Yes, it starts to give you a bit of a good structure, because when you see the slab, it looks small. It always does. No matter how big the fucking house is and how big the garages are, everything looks small. So to actually see the brickwork complete, this is WA, so we've got to explain this, because obviously now we're in Adelaide. We're talking about the construction mainly for WA because it's double brick construction. So in WA, when we're pouring the slab, so I'm just going to quickly jump over, the house is poured, the garage is left separate because it's a freestanding. We pour the slab later down the track, normally around lock-up stage, and we'll explain that a bit later about why. Whereas in Adelaide, you do the whole thing at once. So your garage and your house slab is all poured at once. Cool?
Yeah, easy.
Okay.
I didn't know if you want to add more.
No.
Okay, so then after that, we have your timber delivery.
Correct.
And it's actually quite wild going onto site and seeing how much timber is actually
fuck.
needed for a roof frame.
Yeah, shit, yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot there, and yeah, you got to remember, you got the certain degree pitch, you got the size of the actual home. Yeah, your house might be only 200 square meters, but your roof area might be like 250. So you need to compensate a lot more because you got the eaves as well. You've got so much other things that you got to take into account. A fucking shitload of timber. The bigger the house, the even more timber we have.
Yeah. So you then have your roof steel delivery.
Yep.
And this is for the garage area, I'm assuming?
No. So some of it depends on how the frame's all been structured. It might be some of the trusses and shit like that. So there is a bit that comes into it, and you've also got sometimes the big fucking like your steel beams and shit like that. That those are normally going across the garage and sometimes in the living areas, depending on the span of the width of the home. So those are the things when we're talking about steel delivery. That's what you're looking at. You've got to remember there's also a different option, which is complete roof steel
beams.
Construction. So instead of it being timber that gets delivered, it would be all the steel trusses that get built. So either way, it's all being delivered now. Now that the brickwork's done, we get all those materials out there, so then we can start the next stage.
Yep. And you get your fascia delivery.
Yep.
And then the roof carpenters go out and they start creating the roof frame.
Yep. And they start smashing it out.
Interestingly, it doesn't actually take that long to make the roof frame. We learnt that when we were talking to one of the tradies. It took like a week.
What are you talking about?
Roof frame.
To actually pull it together?
Yeah.
Or it depends on how big your team is. So you can have, we've seen it fluctuate. So if you've got a big chippy team going onto site and everything's there ready to go, it can take potentially 1 or 2 weeks. But sometimes we've seen it go 3 to 6 weeks. So it depends. you've also got to remember this is about timber beams. So whereas if it's completely steel trusses, then yeah, it's already prefabricated, gets delivered, and you get the guys that just fucking hook it all up. So it is a lot quicker. So it depends on the construction method as well. So you are right, but also wrong at the same time.
Okay. I'm going off the information I've been told.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah. So once the roof frame is created, then they do all the
electrical prep. So basically they're going to come in and start feeding all the run-ins and shit like that throughout the roof into your roof space. Same as your plumbing. So everything starts, obviously, all the prep that you need into it. And as soon as that is done, then the next thing after your plumbing's been fed and your electricals have been all chased, the walls are chased and in the roof line, then the next thing is going to be your sheets. So most of our builds with Mr. Enthusiast is all color bond, better for security in my opinion, and it's a bit lighter. So that gets delivered, and then the boys will go out and actually put that on and fit it on. Whereas if you're tiles, then they'll be delivering all your tiles and then doing it like that. So just a reminder for you guys, if you do choose tiles with your builder, it will have to be timber frames to be able to support the weight because it's so fucking heavy. You can't do steel frames and then put tiles on them. It doesn't work. So you can't do
timber frames.
You can't have steel frame for your roof and then slap tiles onto it because it's too heavy. It's going to fuck it. So it has to be timber.
Okay.
Correct.
Sorry, I heard that you said it has to be steel.
No, the other way around.
Okay.
So when you've got color bond sheeting, you can do it on either timber or steel. That's fine. But when it comes to tiles, you can only do it one way because of how much weight there is actually pulling onto the roof.
Okay, cool. And then so then that moves on to like your next milestone, which is roof cover complete.
Roof cover complete. So you've got the sheets on, everything's done. So now when you're actually going at the front of your home and looking at it, you can actually see a whole structure of a home. Now it's starting to give you a really good idea on the structure of how big your fucking home is.
Yeah.
Like this is when you start going, oh, how big is my home going to be? This is that stage when it all basically like the penny drops and you go, holy fuck, okay,
this is an actual home. Yeah,
this is an actual home. It's holy shit, it's a lot bigger than when I first thought.
So then after that we do the meter box connection.
Yep.
And we do the render sand delivery, and this is render for your plaster outside.
Yep. Yeah, so this is for the rendering on the front of the home.
Yep.
Yes.
And we only do the front, we don't do the sides or the back.
No, not as standard. So most of the homes, when you look at elevations, like the front facade, you'll actually notice that it's got like a two different coloured render with some materials or whatever's required. So this is why we only do the front that's required. And then normally the two sides and the back of the home, that is all exposed brickwork, that face brick.
And then the external render goes on.
Yes, yep. Then the boys come out and render the front.
Do all of that. The next stage would be your walls and your ceilings to go on.
Yes.
So with Levita, we do gyprock boards.
Yep. So a lot of in Adelaide, it's all gyprock boards. In WA, most builders are starting to move over to gyprock boards. Some of them are still doing wet set render, like your normal plaster work. So just ask the question with the builder which way it goes, because it can fluctuate and add or give a little bit more time frame as well. But with the gyprock boards, basically, which is very interesting because a lot of people sit there and go, how the fuck do you do it with brickwork? So you smash the brickwork like normal, and what they do is they plop on. If you look at a wall, let's say you're somewhere you can see a wall, that whole board, because they go in certain dimensions, they plop out like little bits of cement on it, and then they just fucking smash the board on. So it's never actually completely fixed right against the brickwork. There's a bit of a gap in it, which does help afterwards with the whole structure.
Yeah, okay, cool.
But yeah, they'll basically, with the gyprocks, they'll put it all in, they'll do the joins, they'll do the roof, your ceilings, and all that shit. So basically your walls and ceilings are done at the same time, and then they'll also slap your cornices around as well.
The next stage will be your external glazing. So basically all your windows.
All your windows and the sliding doors, yes.
Yes. Then they do your doors, shelving, and handles.
Yep. Yeah, that's one. Yeah. I was just thinking, I was like, I was thinking of internal doors. I'm like, no.
No, external doors.
Yeah, because what we're aiming for, guys, is since roof is complete, what we're aiming for now is towards the lock-up stage. So that means we need to be able to do the whole external. So your window frames, the door frames, everything's already been kitted out when your brickwork was done. So now what we're doing is finishing it off. So installing all the windows around, all the inside, all of your sliding doors, we're installing all the glazing. So that's what that glazing stage is. And then with the doors, it will be like, for example, in your garage door and your front entry door normally. So we're trying to aim to completely lock that home up so that we can now start utilizing, so that the access is only limited to the builder.
Yep, with the keys.
Correct.
Then the internal carpentry happens. So the carpentry come out onto site and measure all the internal doors and shelves.
Correct.
And then by this stage, you are officially at lockup.
100%.
So this is your next milestone.
This is the big one. So this is when things really start to, it's good and bad. It's great because you see it all come together, but bad because half the time you can't get in.
Mm-hmm.
So now I want to put a bit of a note in here for you guys. When you do, if the reality is you're going to go out on site and see your house, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
When you do, if you do see windows and stuff, and I see this all the time with people, don't leave it open just so that you can try and go and get access, because what can happen is if shit gets stolen or gets damaged, it's just going to delay your construction time frame. It's going to delay you actually getting into the home. So what I would recommend, if you jump in and you see a window open, whatever, you decide to climb in, cool. But on the way out, close it. Help the builder out, because there's so many trades coming in and shit like that. The last thing we want to be doing is delaying your construction any further because someone decided to come in and steal shit. It's a fucking wild time at the moment. So I just do recommend, if you do go in and have a look at something, make sure you close it up just close it up on the way out. Yeah,
that's a really good note to put out there.
Well, thank you.
So then we have your cabinetry site measure. So the cabinetry guys come out, they measure everything up.
Yes.
That's your bathrooms and your kitchen.
Yep.
And your laundry.
Yes.
And then you have your bath delivery and bath install, and this is your minor bath,
correct.
Not your
spare bathroom.
Freestanding bath if you have one.
No. So this is just for the spare bathroom. So they deliver because everyone's got them in bulk. Mm-hmm. They come and deliver them and they set it all up, install it, put some water into it to check for leaks and shit like that. So this is where all of that comes into play.
Yep. And they also brick up to where the bath would be during that stage.
Yeah. Around that one, they'll start breaking in the lock.
The next stage is all your cabinetries are installed. So the guys that came and measured out a little while ago, they're now back with all the cabinets and install everything. So
correct.
It looks pretty cool now.
Furniture. Well, now you start to really see it all come together. You're going, oh fuck, was that island bench big enough? And then you walk through, doors open, whatever, and you're able to go in and you go, holy fuck, this thing's actually fucking huge. Now it starts to really come together, especially the kitchen. I think the kitchen's the best one when you start to notice, because in the ensuite it looks killer depending on what you've done, but in the kitchen, because it's so big and open, the area, it's so empty at first, and then to start seeing all the cabinetry going in and shit, it looks fucking sick.
Yeah, it gives you a real indication of what the home's going to start looking like.
Yeah.
So the next stage is your tile delivery.
Yes.
So this is when the tiles that you picked out at pre-start are now delivered into your home. And I know that at least Levita does this. I don't know about other builders. They try to have a tile meeting on site with you.
Yep.
And that's just to confirm that these are the tiles that you selected at pre-start. And they want to confirm that the tiles are going to be laid the correct way. So if you have a feature wall, they're just confirming and putting at least one tile right next to the wall to say this is where the feature wall is going.
This is where you've chosen the others, etc. Yeah. This is a floor tile you're looking at, and just triple checking that what you had chosen is what it is. Because sometimes in construction, some tiles might discontinue and shit like that. They might try something similar. So if there is any hiccups, you deal with it now rather than it's completely set up and then you're having to rip shit out or cut it out. So that's why that is. So like you mentioned, with our partner builders like Levita and Progen, they do obviously meet you out on site, especially for tiles, if not earlier. But at the same time, a lot of the builders do. Just triple check this when you're first locking in with a builder, how many times you actually get to go out on site and actually meet the supervisor to double check that, brickwork's right, your tiles are right, your completions. How many times you're physically in person going out to the home to meet with the supervisor to double check everything.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. After that is your waterproofing. So before the tiles go down, all the wet areas need to be waterproofed. That just basically prevents stuff like leaks and like all the nasty stuff.
Moisture
like
and shit going into where it
stuff like
shouldn't
that
be.
growing,
Yeah. So this gets interesting when you have the gyprock boards. The boards, you will notice that in the wet areas, the boards actually are a different color. They're a different specification to be a lot more waterproof. Rather, do you know what I mean? Like a little bit more water resistant. So a lot of the waterproofing, you might not see it on the walls, but you'll see on the floor. It's like either a blue or a grey, and you have to let that sit and obviously dry out. And that basically, it's like a protective film that stops the water from obviously seeping in and traveling somewhere it shouldn't. If you're doing wet, like plaster work, you'll see it against the walls as well. And you'll normally go, depending on what you chose with your tiles, normally in the shower area, it's about 2 meters high on average, and then it drops back down to like one row around or, on the main floor. So you do notice it pretty quickly. It'll be normal concrete as you're walking through, and then boom, it's a different color.
Yeah.
That's that waterproofing.
And it takes a couple of days to cure. So
yeah, definitely. You don't want to be, if you do go
that
out and you see it's quite a strong smell, stay the fuck away. Do not walk on it or damage it, because they would have to come back and do it. You don't want to have anything penetrating that. Penetrate. You don't want anything to penetrate it, just because otherwise you'll have to go back out and fix it.
Yep.
You can't lay over it if
it's damaged.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's a barrier. You don't want to find an exit strategy or an exit loop somewhere.
So after that, the tiles are installed.
Yes, tiler comes out.
Yeah, the tiler comes out and they're installed, and this is quite a fun stage for me because I love going out and seeing what colours people have chosen.
Yes.
After that, your garage slab install happens. So this is for WA clients.
Yep.
Your garage slab is poured and officially all your slab work is done.
Yes. So this is what we're saying is some of these things can be happening at the same time. So the tiler might be on site, and then all of a sudden, within a few days, your garage slab has already been poured while the tiler's still here.
Yep.
So this is what we're talking about. Some of these things can start happening at the same time. You might have had cabinets delivered, they get installed into your home, and your tiles have already been delivered and shit like that. So we're going into each step, but at the same time, some of these things might actually be happening all at the same time, so simultaneously.
Yep. Then the garage door measure happens.
Yes. Let me just go over the garage slab, because obviously we do have some SA and overseas people. So the garage slab scenario. So in WA, the way it's just been, this is the way it's been with builders, right? We're going to bring some builders on and just ask why the fuck this happens. But the garage is poured at a separate stage. It doesn't get forgotten. It's just done in a separate stage. The explanation we've mainly been given about why this happens is mainly because we're double brick construction. What that means is the external walls need to be built onto the footings of the home. So what that means is if we had the entire slab built, we would have to recess the fucker and all this shit to do it, and it's a lot more of a headache. So what they do is they just remove the garage portion and they pour it later, so that way the bricklayer, when they're doing the bricklaying, they can actually build it right onto the footings and get it all done, and then they can obviously pour the garage slab later. What that also helps is it avoids unnecessary damage to the garage slab. You got to remember, we are quite known for our big fuck off garages. So imagine you're spending shit ton of money on this new home. You've got a 4, 6, 8, 10 car garage, and then you've seen, some of the machinery that goes out on site, like a bobcat and shit. They're going up on it. They skull drag their fucking machine or something onto it. They're damaging the garage slab before you even get to fucking go in. If anyone's going to damage the fucking garage, it should be you. Mm-hmm. You're the one paying for it. Do you know what I mean? So to avoid unnecessary damage and shit going wrong, what they normally try and do is keep it a little bit late at this stage after lockup, just to help prevent a lot of the bigger machinery that it's already been done, and then just move forward. So that's what it's all about.
Yep. Easy. Okay. Now, Gareth?
Yeah, okay. Go for it. Now you can do it. Well, it's a very big common question we get. So I really do want to be able to explain. Again, if you guys have questions, just fucking send it through. But the main two reasons we can build on it because of double brick construction on the footings, and also to prevent further damage from it.
Okay, third time's the charm. Now garage door measure.
Yes.
So the tradies come out and they measure the length and the width to make sure that the garage door is created exactly for your size home.
Yep.
Then the plumbing fixture delivery comes. So all your fixtures like your toilets, your taps, your shower heads, freestanding baths, towel rails, toilets, roll holders, etc., etc., etc. All of that's delivered and ready for install. Then your appliances are delivered, so your oven, your hot plate, and your range hood.
Yes.
Then we have the electrical fit off. So everything is now installed.
Yeah,
the
so
oven.
the Sparky rocks up and just starts fucking setting it all up.
Yep. And then the plumber comes and does your plumbing fit off, which
Correct.
is installing all your tapware, toilets and baths, etc.
Yep.
Then all your insulation gets installed.
Yes.
So this is into the roof cavity.
Yes.
All your insulation.
Correct. So with WA and with the builders we're using, we insulate not just the home, but also your garage, not your alfresco.
Yep.
So that's the only thing that's not covered, because you'll actually be surprised, a lot of builders don't include the garage to be insulated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fun fact for you. So yeah, so this is where the stages, they'll come and they'll deliver it all, and the boys will go up into your roof space, and basically in all the gaps and shit like that, they know that this is where they lay that insulation for what's required.
And this just keeps your house cooler in summer and warmer in winter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Then your range hood is installed.
Yes.
Then you have your first house clean. So because so many tradies are coming through and bringing in dust and sand, tidy up the home a little bit.
Yep.
Before they do the internal painting, or next would be internal painting. It might have happened earlier, but
Yes. Yeah.
this is the line that I'm following.
Yeah, so this is the structure that we're following, but at the same time, sometimes it might, once the walls have been done and in between all these stages, you might have seen like just the base coat's already been done.
Yep.
So now they're going to come back and just complete it and finish off with the actual color you chose, and shit like that. So a lot of these things are happening at the same time, you know, because at some point your front render, because it was just generic, has now been painted as well.
Yes.
So all these things come into play.
After that is your shower screen, mirrors and robes. All of the shower screens are installed and everything like that.
Yep.
Then you have your internal carpentry fit off. So for that's all your handles for your doors and all your cupboards.
Yes.
Then you've
So that's
got
like your handles just for your bathrooms, as well as like your doors, like your
Yes.
internal doors. Everything's like somewhat delegated. Now it's all like hooked up and fucking
Yes.
fitted up.
Then you've got your main flooring installed. So this is either your floorboards or your tiles
Correct.
in your main living area and all like that.
Yes.
Like all those
Yeah.
areas,
Yeah. So wherever when you deal with Mr. Enthusiast, so you've got your two main options. You've either got tiles that you've chosen or those like hybrid floors. So whichever way you go, they're now being delivered and installed. And normally it's to like the entry, the front, you know, the main living areas, the rear passageway. That's normally like the generic. And then let's say if you've chosen the theatre to be decked out, or wherever you've chosen the main floors, this is now where they've come and delivered all of it to get installed at the same time.
Yep.
Because your bedrooms and stuff will be done separately.
Because your bedrooms are carpet.
Correct.
Which is the next stage. So
Yep.
basically all your flooring gets done quite like at a similar time, but your main flooring happens first, then your carpet.
Main floors first, and then they do the carpets.
Yes.
I haven't seen any of our builds in the past 7 years where the carpets are done first, and then that, because obviously carpets are gonna fucking, you know,
They get dirty quickly and stuff.
yeah, they're gonna attract a lot of sand and shit. So normally they try and do it the other way around, have it all a bit more cleaner around, and then they put the carpets in.
Yes. And if you have opted to have an aircon, this is when your aircon is installed as well.
Yep.
After that, your paving prep is done. So the ground where your alfresco and where you're driving is all compacted and ready.
Correct.
And
You'll see the builder saying go in there. Oh, there's a lot to it. You're being very generic. So you'll see like, fuck off, Julia. You'll see, bro. Do you want me to continue and actually and give the info to the fucking listeners or what?
fire away.
Okay, thank you. Fucking mind the domestics over here. Jesus Christ. So before the pavers are actually laid down, and like Jill was saying, it's getting compacted, sometimes you'll actually see the builder's sand, like a yellow sand all goes through, so it creates that base. Sometimes as well in the front driveway area, if the builder's allocated for it, you'll also get the sub base into it because it's required, you know, it might be a requirement with the council. So everything gets prepared and then they fucking install it afterwards.
Thank you.
No worries. It's just because some people will see like different colored sand versus the rest of the soil. So they're going, what the fuck is this? This is what it's for. So there's quite a bit to it.
So then your paving delivery happens and your paving
Correct.
install happens.
Correct.
They then do a perimeter termite treatment.
Correct. Because they've done one as before the slab was done.
Yes.
They do one when the slab is done, and then they find this is the final one, basically, as that full barrier treatment.
Yeah, just to make sure it's 100% termite free.
Yeah, 100%. Like even though you've got timber beams, for example, the timber beams are also treated for termites and shit like that. So we do as much as possible, and it is in the building codes about what the builder needs to do in terms of to have these allowances in place. Sometimes you see if you have steel frames. Fun fact, because we experienced this with our build. So because our builder decided to go and use steel trusses, so the steel frames as our roof frame rather than timber, we didn't actually have a barrier on our brickwork, which actually allows for, to prevent termites from going in. And we were fucking shitting ourselves going, what the fuck? Like, they're doing a dodgy. So because there's no timber in the roof, they actually don't need to do that. They just need to do a perimeter spray. So they actually save themselves a few dollars doing that. So when you're doing roof frame, for everyone out there, especially in WA, you'll notice this with all of our builds, along your brick, on your garage wall normally, it's normally like two or three brick courses in. You see on the outside of it, if you can like have a gun, if it's not up against the wall of someone else, you'll see like a little bit of a film sticking out. That's your barrier treatment against there, because that gets installed. And then afterwards, this is the final like spray over, final treatment. So yeah, a little bit of an FYI.
Yes. Then your painting touch-ups happen. So if
Correct.
there's any dings or little notches in the wall that's been damaged, they touch all of that up.
Yeah, because the supervisor's going out
Yeah.
like literally non-stop. If they're making sure they're not fucking being smashed with too much jobs and shit. So this is a big difference where you'll start noticing how timeframes are taking with everything. If the supervisor's going out on site quite consistently, things do happen. Things might, have little chips and dents and shit like that. This is when you'll notice that, oh shit, everything's already been taken care of. Everything's looking flush because the supervisor's going out and doing the inspections in the home at all times.
And it's very common for little scratches to happen here
Fucking
and there
oath.
because they're carrying so much stuff into the home. So
Yeah.
it's normal. Like, this is normal to happen.
That's it.
After that, your garage door is installed.
If you're lucky, yes. And in the current market, this is fucked because so many people are waiting for garage doors because there's only so many suppliers and so many goddamn doors. Like sometimes people, it's been measured and quoted. Some people might be waiting 3, 4, up to like 2 or 3 months from when it's been initially measured and quoted until they actually get the door delivered. So in between, we're not going to delay that. Your actual build from, completing. We're going to be doing as much of this shit as possible.
Yes. After that, all your window coverings go on. So window coverings are your blinds, whether they're roller or straight, whatever type of blinds.
So a lot of the times we give clients options of either vertical or roller blinds or Venetians. Normally, I highly recommend to most people, if it's included, always go for roller blinds.
Yeah.
It's a lot better. It blocks out a lot more light and less damage to be done if you have cats and shit like that.
Yep. Then you've got your fly screen installed to keep out all the pesky insects.
Yes, you get fly screens. Do you know how common it is that clients actually ask me, do we get fly screens? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like,
why wouldn't you?
Because some builders don't do it.
Actually.
Apparently.
Bro.
Look, again, this is like, do you know what I mean? I was like, bro, it's not even that much fucking, like.
Wow.
Well, technically, it's, look, don't quote me on this, guys, but I'm pretty sure it's not a dead set requirement that you must have fly screen, like, covers.
I never thought about it. I just thought that they, like.
Well, yeah, but, some people might go that they want, on some of the windows, they might want to do roller shutters or whatever the fuck they want to do. So, I don't know. Okay. But, yeah, apparently some clients were asking, like, do I get them? Like, yeah. Like, why wouldn't you? But it's all right.
Okay,
so, yeah, this is where it gets done. And you'll actually notice, different types. We'll go into this in a different stage with like bushfire tackle areas, but you'll notice your normal flimsy that you normally see for fire screens. And then when you're in the bushfire tackle level area, because things have to be upgraded to prevent embers from obviously entering the home, this is where it actually turns like stainless steel mesh. So it's a little bit different.
Then you have your second house clean. So just to make sure that everything is now tidy, right before your next milestone, which is PCI.
PCI, so practical completion inspection. So this is when the home is basically practically ready to be lived in. So basically, if you've come to this stage and everything's gone smoothly and efficiently, then the house is basically ready. So what would have happened is this is your final meeting with the supervisor, where you actually go through the entire home. And this is one of the main options I always tell clients. always bring an inspector if you can, as a secondary person to just check over everything, just to give you that peace of mind, especially to make sure, because unless you know what the fuck you're looking for, sometimes things can get missed. You gotta remember there's so many people involved with a build. This is the shit where you need to be checking, make sure that all your PowerPoint's actually working. If you've got downloads, check that all the lights are working. If you've got bayonets, bring a fucking light bulb just in case and check all your lights are working. All around your doors and stuff like that, make sure that they're all sealed and painted, because if they're not, there can be moisture going through. All of these things, those are just some of the top ones that I can think of the top of my head. But at the same time, you're checking through the entire house. If you see dings and dents, this is when you raise it all, going, look, here's all of our concerns, fix all of this shit. We will release the final payment, and now we're ready to pick up the keys because, obviously the house is ready to be moved into. So this is that main one. So why I say to bring an inspector especially is because if you don't know what you're looking for to make sure that the house is structurally, correct and everything's according to the building code, sometimes things can get missed. So having someone that can go out into your roof space and get fucking itty gritty and spend a couple hours really going to town while you're doing all the cosmetic side a lot of the times.
Yep.
You marry all of that up, all of the results, along with whatever the supervisor has also picked up. You bring them together and go, cool, this is the final list. And basically how this all works is it goes, yep, we've come and inspected. Here's the list of the things we would like rectified. Once all these things are done, we're happy to sign off and then pick up the keys and move into your home.
Yeah, and I do want to mention that very rarely is there nothing that needs to be fixed. So that you might pick up a scratch in the wall or what, small things like that. That's all now going to get fixed. So based on whatever things you've noticed, they normally put like blue sticky tape or
it's either
dots
blue or yellow,
whatever.
just to note down where the things are. So then obviously everyone, because you obviously walk through room by room with the supervisor and they're going through everything. Even like they go outside, then they go on the inside, and they'll show you all the taps, make sure all the water's working, everything. Like be prepared. It's not like a 30-minute meeting. You might be there anywhere between 1 to 2.5 hours because there's a lot to go through. Yeah,
and this is so they basically make the list, and then it takes them anywhere between 10 to 14 days to fix it.
Yep.
So roughly 2 weeks. It might take a little bit longer.
Yeah, it might take a bit longer, but normally they have your 10 working business days, so normally about 2 weeks. Again, they will discuss with it, because if they have to get some trades back but they're booked out for a week and shit, you might push things out. Don't rush this. This is a big one, and we've got a lot of clients, and we keep telling them, I understand the current circumstances that we're all in. It's fucked. Rentals are fucked. We need to get out. Do not rush this, because it gets a lot harder down the track to get trades afterwards when you've moved in, because you start moving into the whole place. You don't want people rolling in trying to fix shit. If you got to wait it out, wait the couple weeks if you need to, or the days or whatever is required. You're on the home stretch, guys. You're nearly fucking there.
Yeah, it's just the excitement that gets you.
It's the excitement, but also I do get sometimes circumstances are we've had to help clients and do what we can. But wherever you can, just find a way around it. Do not rush this part in terms of wanting to pick up keys and then let people come in afterwards. It becomes an absolute shit show, in my opinion.
It's just a lot harder because
it's so fucking hard. Yeah. Exactly. You need to try and figure out what happens if that trade doesn't rock up, and then you've wasted the day, and then you're getting pissed off. Whereas if you just let it fucking sort itself out, and then you've done the final check, then you can just move in. You can book in your fucking all the shit that you need to, and you can just move forward and know that everything's been fixed, everything's been done. I can now start that next part of my life with my new home.
Yep. And the next stage is your last milestone, which is handover.
We're always there for this one.
Yes.
So wherever we can, we talk about builders and we negotiate. As part of it is that we have to be there, because obviously in between with Mr. Enthusiast, we've got your painting gift that we're giving you guys as your handover. We've got your USB that's full. It's a custom USB from us.
Yes.
That is full of every single photo from the moment we first started, when I made you take those happy snaps in the beginning with it. Half the time it's cringe. All the way through, from all of the photos, the drone shots, the overlays, all the things that Mr. Enthusiast is really well known in the industry about. We're giving you everything.
Yep.
The filtered ones, like the
watermarked,
and unwatermarked, because it's cool that we have them on file, but also it will be nice for you guys to have a copy of it, because you might want to do a little collage of your whole building journey or whatever's happened. So we give you that as well into it. So we want to be there when your handover is being booked, because we want to go through all that and normally do a champagne pop when we're taking photos and just that lasting memory. Do you know what I mean? Like,
And just say congratulations.
Fucking oath, man. Like, this is, as much as it's your build, it's also our build.
Yeah, I'm kind of invested.
We are very invested with our clients and with each journey, but I like the feeling because it's almost like I've built our own home again, all over again, each fucking time. And you can never get sick of that feeling. It's so cool to see the circumstances that we first, might have caught up with you guys initially, and then to see it all go through and, yourselves grow as individuals and as a couple if you're together or family. Your circumstances sometimes change. You've changed jobs and lifestyle. Everything's happened. And in between, we're building this home, and then to see it on the final journey from where we first started to where it is now, that is the best fucking feeling in the world.
Yes, it's your ooey gooeys.
It's the ooey gooey vibes.
Yes. So from there, we still touch base with you.
100%.
But what happens next is your 6-month maintenance happens.
Wait, before we continue on, so with the handover, once your completion has been done, what we do recommend that you guys do is you need to go and contact an insurance provider. So if you need to take out your own home insurance and get what's called a certificate of currency, basically going that, because at the current moment, the entire build, it's been covered under insurance by the builder. Now that you're moving and you're going to be picking up keys and owning the home, a requirement by the bank obviously is that you need to have insurance. It's no different from like a car. Yep. When you finance a new car, you need to show that you've got insurance for it, like to cover yourself basically. So the same thing happens with a build. You must have this, and then you release the final payment. Once payment's done, they've got the insurances, everything's been ticked off, then you pick up the keys. So I just thought to remind people of that because that is quite a big one.
Yeah, good reminder.
Yes.
Good thing to know.
Thank
we
you.
didn't have that in here.
Thanks, B1.
You're welcome, B2. So then after that, after living in your house for 6 months, you have your 6-month maintenance. So within the first 6 months of living in the home, you might notice something doesn't work, or I don't know.
Okay, so I'll explain because you're making it sound a lot worse than it is.
Okay, sorry.
So the maintenance. So as soon as you picked up the keys for your home, the first initial couple of weeks, if there's something urgent like plumbing, electrical, gas, shit like that, you contact the builder immediately. They come out immediately, or you go to the suppliers that's needed. After that, then you go into what's called the maintenance period. Now this changes. Some of it's 6 months from the moment you pick up keys. Sometimes it's 12 months. So some of the builders are moving to the 12-month scenario. So what that means is in that 12-month period, you start noting down all the small shit. So what we're talking is, like, for example, if there's settlement cracks, if there's things, like some of the door handles are slightly loose, they're not tied in properly. It's all the minor things. If there's anything that's structural, you normally raise that with the builder ASAP, and they should be getting onto it pretty quickly. But again, this is what that maintenance period is. It's basically all the little things while the house is settling in now, you've moved in. If you're moving furniture, guys, so you need to understand this. If you're moving furniture in and you fucking smack into a wall, I don't know, it's up to the builder's discretion. They might not cover it because it's not something that they've physically done or it's been missed. Do you know what I mean? If you've damaged the house.
If you've damaged the wall.
If you've damaged it, then you're going to fucking cover it. It's more about all the minor shit. A lot of the times the clients don't end up doing because they're going, look, like we had 2 little things, we touched them up and that was it. We had nothing to report. Sometimes there's a lot more. Give or take, no one fucking really knows. There's no perfect, do you know what I mean? Like, well, no one knows. This is what that maintenance is for.
Yes.
So once that's all done, you send that form off or you notify the builder, and then they come back and that's what they're here for. They'll sort it all out, fix it. After that, ball's in your court.
Yes. And the last thing, which really isn't builder related or like construction related.
No.
We like to check in with our clients 12 months after you get your keys.
Yes. For the entire 12 months.
Yes, I don't want to give away secrets.
Well, no. Okay, we won't give everything away because we have noticed that there's a few
copycats out there.
Copycats that are listening to our stuff.
We check in with our clients for a year, and at the 12-month mark,
correct,
we like to try and come back and visit our clients.
I invite myself over.
You
yes.
do. And just see how everything's been going.
100%.
See the house, like as a house now, in a home.
Yeah, in a
see
home.
The house as a home now rather than just a house.
Correct, because we build a killer. We know it's going to be a killer home for you guys, but at the moment we're seeing it as a house.
Yes.
It hasn't been lived in, hasn't been loved on. You guys haven't moved in all of your furniture, the little love, dings and dents, the pets running around. For example, in our house, our fucking hallway walls are absolutely gouged because of our dogs because they're big fucking dogs, stretching out and doing the marks. As much as like sometimes an eyesore, I look and go, hey, that's our pups.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's all those things. The house has been loved in now. You've moved in, you've settled in. We would love to come out. And like I said, I kind of invite myself over for a drink just to see the whole home and see how you guys have been. It's been a few months now, and up to a year that
Catch
you've
up in
actually,
person,
and just catch up for a bit of spit, and see what your fucking life situations happened, how the things have been with the house, is there, and ask for some feedback as well. To get to where we are now has been, honestly, is mainly because of you guys that are listening out there. You have given us the feedback and we've been able to take it on and go, cool. Some of that shit is fucked that we've done. Let's fix it. Some of the other things we do really good. Let's focus on that. And that feedback is what we've been able to do where we are. And we're asking from our clients as well that have moved in. Go, hey, is there something you would have changed, or were there any ifs about concerns during your build, or now that you've finished? Was there enough communication, stuff like that? And we're always taking all of that on board.
Great segue. If you guys like anything that we do or think that we should be covering another topic,
please message us,
leave a rating, leave a review. That would be great.
Fucking oath, because we're getting some, and like, man, we've got some killer stories, which I'm going to use some of those stories for our intros.
Yeah.
But keep sending them through. Like, fucking, they are the best. Like, there's been a few times, like, man, it's hard work. Like, we're running a business, we're trying to do shit. Sometimes you have your highs and your lows. And there was one, I had a low recently, and I saw the fucking message. It was late at night, and, they were listening to our podcast, and it really helped them, really open their eyes about what the fuck was going on. And anyways, it was going on about it all. And it was a perfect message that I needed to make make my night. It boosted me up. And honestly, guys, if you've got the spare minute to just let us know what you are liking about our episodes, what you're not liking, if there's something we can, if you guys recommend or cover in the future. You guys have already come up with some killer points, and we're underway trying to make them work. Just keep it going, guys, because we're doing this for you guys. At the end of the day, I'm more than happy to take the time, and so is Julia, for us to give all this info. But the more feedback we have back, then the better the better I feel, knowing that it's actually going out there to the right people. But also, we know what is working, what isn't, so we can go from there.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to do a summary on this one. This will be a very long summary.
It's a very long summary, but
no, let's not do a summary.
Nah.
That's a long one.
Sorry, guys. No summary today. But the main 5 key points of construction: slab down, brickwork or plate high is what it's called, roof cover, lock up, and completion.
Yes.
What I will say as a final little bit is, when your home is at lock-up stage, for people building in WA alone, that is doing a house and land package in an estate, this is the time I highly, highly, highly recommend that you're reaching out to your developer that you're building in, that you purchased the land from, to reach out to organise your fencing and your front landscaping, because obviously most of the time it's included, because that can take a few months. So this is the time during your building stage. So you're not waiting until you've picked up keys and then you're waiting another month or 2 or 3 months to get your fencing done, because if you've got dogs, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You can't just speed it up because they're so behind with all the other areas. This is the time to reach out. Reach out to them if you're building with us and you need some help and you can't get through. Let us know and we'll fucking sort shit out.
Yes.
I thought that was a rule.
Yeah, good point.
Thank you.
Now, plug. You can find us on
Insta, Facebook, TikTok, Google, website, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube.
Hey.
We got there, guys.
We got there. We hope that you enjoyed this episode.
Yes,
you learned
and
something new.
Absolutely. And like and subscribe. Leave a rating if you can on any of our socials, and flick us any messages and ideas, and we'll catch you on the next one.
And just remember, guys,
we're not here
to fuck spiders.
Catches.
Bye.